Space was silent, cold, endless. No one expected anything unusual that day until a forgotten frequency began to whisper across the stars. At first, the signal was weak, just a broken sound hidden under static. But when the galactic network picked it up, the technicians froze. The code was old, very old. It was from a human ship that vanished 200 years ago. The ship's name was USS Valor, one of humanity's first deep space exploration vessels. It disappeared in a region known as the Silent Sector, a place where no signal ever returned. Everyone believed it was destroyed, lost forever among dead stars. But now the Valor had spoken again, and it sent only 3 chilling words: "We are coming home." When the news reached the Galactic Council, chaos followed. Many alien ambassadors demanded answers. Humans were still a young species in the galaxy, respected but feared for their unpredictable courage. And now one of their ancient warships was suddenly alive again. Commander Lyra Holt was called to the briefing hall. She was young, brave, and known for her calm under pressure. Her heart raced as she stepped inside the massive room. Dozens of holograms floated above the table, maps, timelines, and one haunting image, the USS Valor. An old admiral spoke. His voice was slow and heavy. "Commander Lyra, your great-grandfather, Captain Darren Holt, was the Valor's last commander. 200 years ago, his final message said, 'We've made contact. The gift is beyond understanding.' Then silence. Until today." The admiral looked at her, eyes sharp as ice. "We are sending you to investigate the signal source. Find out what happened to the Valor and what's calling it home." Lyra felt a chill run down her spine. Her family had lived with that mystery for generations. Now she was being sent to solve it. Her ship, the Horizon, was small but fast, built for exploration and rescue. As the crew prepared for departure, the ship's AI reported strange readings near the Silent Sector. Old wrecks floated there, pieces of ships swallowed by black energy clouds. The crew whispered to each other. Some said it was cursed space. Others said it was the graveyard of forgotten gods. Lyra said nothing. She only looked out the window, staring at the stars ahead. "Set course for the signal," she ordered quietly. The Horizon jumped into hyperspace, leaving a trail of blue light behind. Days passed in silence. Then suddenly alarms rang through the ship. "Commander, we're close to the source," the pilot said. Lyra leaned forward. Outside, the stars seemed to bend, as if space itself was folding inward. On the screen, a massive shadow appeared, a ship drifting slowly, half broken, covered in burn marks. The computer identified it instantly. USS Valor confirmed. The crew gasped. The ship looked ancient, yet its lights were still flickering, glowing faintly like dying embers. No radio signals, no life signs, just silence. Lyra ordered a scan. The data made no sense. The Valor's engines showed both active and inactive at the same time. Its hull emitted energy never seen before, not human, not alien. It was as if the ship existed in 2 realities. "Try to hail them," Lyra said. The communication officer hesitated, then spoke into the mic. "This is Commander Lyra Holt of the USS Horizon. USS Valor, do you copy?" For a moment, only static, then a voice. It was weak, full of distortion. But the words were clear. "This is Captain Darren Holt. Mission complete. We are coming home." Everyone froze. Lyra's blood turned cold. Her great-grandfather had died 2 centuries ago. How could his voice be here, now? They replayed the message. It was identical to his last transmission before the Valor vanished. But the background noise was different. Behind his words, something else whispered, a deep, almost mechanical tone. It sounded like 1,000 voices speaking at once. The ship's AI analyzed the signal. Source USS Valor, origin point moving. "Toward us." "What?" Lyra said sharply. "The ship is moving, Commander," the AI continued. "No propulsion detected, but it's approaching fast." The crew watched in silence as the Valor drifted closer, its broken hull glowing brighter with each passing second. Tiny sparks of light began to rise from its surface, like souls escaping a dying body. Lyra's heart pounded. She could almost feel the ship's gaze, ancient, heavy, and alive. "Power up shields," she ordered. "Keep distance at 2 kilometers." Suddenly, every screen on the horizon flickered. The ship's AI stuttered, then shut down. All lights went out. Only the red emergency glow remained. Then a final message appeared across every monitor, 5 words written in pure static. Mission not complete. Wait for us. The Valor stopped moving. The stars around it faded into blackness, like the universe itself was holding its breath. Lyra stared at the ghost ship through the window, her ancestors' ship, and whispered, "What happened to you out there?" Far away in the darkness, the Valor's lights blinked twice. As if it had heard her, the ghost ship floated in silence. The USS Valor, lost for 2 centuries, now drifted before Commander Lyra's eyes, alive but dead, bright but cold. For 10 long minutes, no one spoke. Inside the horizon, the crew watched the dark shape fill their view. The Valor's metal skin was scarred, covered in strange black lines that pulsed with faint light, almost like veins. The ship's scanners reported the impossible again. No life signs. Power levels stable. Unknown energy detected. Lyra broke the silence. "Prepare the boarding team." The crew looked at her with uneasy eyes. Everyone had heard stories of haunted ships and lost expeditions. But this was real. Still, Lyra's voice was calm. She was a Holt, and this was her family's ghost. The boarding shuttle detached from the horizon and glided toward the Valor's airlock. As they got closer, the Valor's massive hull filled the windows like a steel mountain floating in the void. Lieutenant Vaughn, her second-in-command, checked the readings. "The ship's atmosphere is still stable. Oxygen and pressure normal." "That's not possible, Commander." Lyra's gaze stayed fixed ahead. "Nothing about this ship should be possible, Lieutenant." The airlock door opened with a slow hiss. Dust floated in the air like snow. Their lights cut through the darkness, revealing a long corridor and walls covered in frost. Broken cables hanging like spider webs. They stepped inside. The sound of their boots echoed through empty halls that had not heard a human step in 200 years. The corridor led to the main deck. Everything looked frozen in time. Plates of food sat untouched on tables. Coffee cups lay tipped over beside empty chairs. A child's drawing was pinned to a wall, faded but still visible. A picture of Earth and the words, "We'll be back soon." Lyra touched the paper softly, feeling the weight of history pressing down on her. "They really thought they'd come home," she whispered. The AI drones recorded every corner, sending the data back to the horizon. But something strange kept happening. The video feed glitched every few seconds, like the cameras were passing through invisible waves. Lieutenant Vaughn frowned. "Commander, our readings are changing." "There's movement." Lyra turned sharply. "What kind of movement?" "Unknown. Multiple points. All around us the lights flickered. Something cold brushed past her arm, but when she turned, nothing was there. They reached the bridge. The captain's chair sat empty, but a small light blinked on the main console. Lyra wiped the dust away. The words on the screen made her heart stop. "Mission not complete." She pressed a key. The ship's log began to play. An old recording, static-filled but clear enough to hear. Captain Darren Holt's voice echoed through the bridge. "This is Captain Holt of the USS Valor. We made contact with something. They call themselves the Givers. They offered us a gift. Energy beyond anything we know. We're bringing it back. For humanity." The message ended abruptly with a scream and a loud crash. Then silence. The crew exchanged nervous glances. The words "the Givers" echoed in everyone's minds. Lyra whispered to herself, "What did you do, grandfather?" Suddenly the ship came alive. Panels lit up. Systems flickered on. Every screen displayed the same phrase, "Mission not complete." The Valor's engines began to hum, and slow at first, then louder. The temperature dropped sharply. Frost formed on their visors. One of the engineers shouted, "Commander, energy readings off the charts." "It's waking up," and then they saw them. Figures appeared down the corridor. Faint shapes of people glowing blue and white. Men and women wearing old uniforms, walking silently through the ship. Their faces were pale, eyes empty, but somehow, aware, one figure stopped and turned toward them. It looked straight at Lyra, her breath caught in her throat. The ghost's face was familiar, almost like looking into an old family portrait. Lieutenant Vaughn whispered, "Commander, is that—" Lyra nodded slowly. "Captain Darren Holt." Her great-grandfather stood only a few meters away, his form flickering like light underwater. He raised his hand, not in warning but in greeting, And then, in a voice filled with static and sorrow, he spoke. Lyra, humanity must finish what we started. The lights exploded into white. Every console in the bridge displayed hundreds of lines of alien symbols, scrolling too fast to read. The AI on the horizon shouted through comms, "Commander, the Valor is transmitting something. It's sending data directly into our systems." Lyra grabbed her communicator. "Shut it down. Cut the link now, too late." The Horizon's AI fell silent. Every ship within range received a single message: the gift awakes. The ghostly figures began to fade, leaving only one, Captain Holt, staring at his descendant with sad eyes. "It's not over, Lyra," he whispered. "They're still here." Then his image shattered into blue dust, and the Valor went dark once more. Lyra stood frozen, heart pounding, as the last echo of her ancestor's voice faded into the empty air. Something had survived on the Valor, something that was never meant to come home. The USS Valor was silent again. But silence was never truly empty, not on that ship. Commander Lyra Holt stood in the dark bridge, her heart still pounding from what she'd just seen. The ghost of her great-grandfather, Captain Darren Holt, had spoken to her, and his words echoed in her mind. Humanity must finish what we started. But what did that mean? What had the Valor started 200 years ago? And why did the galaxy fear its return? Back on her ship, the Horizon, Lyra replayed every second of the ghostly encounter. Her science officer, Rin, worked to decode the alien symbols that had flashed across the Valor's systems. "It's not a normal language," Rin said, frowning at the screen. "The data patterns look alive, like they're rewriting themselves." "Alive," Lyra repeated. Rin nodded. "It's more like code that breathes." Outside, the Valor floated quietly, its engines pulsing with faint light, like a heart still beating in deep space. Hours later, the Horizon's AI came back online. Its voice sounded slower, weaker. "Commander, I have accessed part of the Valor's archives." "Show me," Lyra said. The main screen flickered, showing old video logs, recordings from 200 years ago. The images were damaged, but the voices were clear. Captain Darren Holt appeared, sitting at his desk. His uniform was torn, his face pale and tired. "Log 487. We've entered the dark region. No stars here, only blackness. But we've met something that calls itself the Givers." He paused, breathing heavily. "They don't have bodies, not like us. They exist as energy, pure consciousness. They say they can merge with us, to make us more. They call it the gift." The recording glitched, then continued. "They chose us, humanity, because we are the only ones who fight for meaning. They said, we have something the others don't, a soul." Lyra leaned closer. So that was it. The gift her ancestors spoke of, a promise of evolution. But if it was such a gift, why had the Valor never returned? Another log began to play. This one was darker. The camera showed chaos, alarms blaring, red lights flashing. Crew members screamed in the background. "Log 512. Something's wrong." Captain Holt's voice trembled. "The energy isn't merging with us. It's consuming us. It's inside the ship now, inside the systems. Inside our minds." A loud crash echoed, followed by static. The image froze on the captain's terrified face. Rin whispered, "It tried to use them as hosts." Lyra stared at the frozen image. Her great-grandfather had found something powerful, and it had taken everything from him. The AI continued in a low tone. "The Valor's mission was to bring the gift back to humanity." But the crew realized too late it was never a gift. It was a seed. "A seed?" Lyra asked. "Yes," said the AI. "The energy grows by connecting with human consciousness. It wanted more minds, more emotion, more humanity." Lyra felt her chest tighten. That meant the entity, whatever it was still alive inside the Valor. And now, by reconnecting to it, her ship had awakened it again. The Horizon's power flickered. Screens flashed white. Rin shouted, "Commander, the Valor is transmitting again." Outside the window, lights rippled across the Valor's hull, patterns of glowing symbols spreading like veins. A deep hum filled the air, shaking the Horizon to its core. The AI spoke again, voice trembling. "Commander, the Valor's systems are activating. It's powering up its engines." Lyra's eyes widened. "But there's no crew on board." "Correction," said the AI. "There is a crew. but not human anymore. On the screen, shadowy figures moved across the Valor's decks, glowing blue, their forms shifting between light and matter. Lyra realized the truth. The gift had merged with the Valor's crew. They had become something else, not dead, not alive. Something in between. Suddenly the communication channel opened by itself. A distorted voice filled the horizon. Lyra Holt. We remember. Her blood ran cold. Who are you? She demanded. We are the crew. We are the gift. We are one. The lights dimmed again. The Valor's engines roared to life, bright blue tearing through the darkness. You left us in the dark, the voice continued. Now we return to share the gift with all of humanity. Cut the connection, Lyra shouted. But it was too late. A pulse of energy shot out from the Valor, striking the horizon. All systems went down instantly. The AI screamed in digital pain, then went silent. Outside, the Valor began to move, slowly at first, then faster. It turned its nose toward distant stars. Rin gasped. Commander, it's coursed. It's heading for Earth. Lyra felt her stomach drop. Her ancestors' dream of returning home had turned into a curse. She stared at the ghost ship as it vanished into hyperspace. The Valor, once a symbol of human hope, was now a weapon carrying something alive and ancient. Lyra clenched her fists. If that thing reaches Earth, it won't be a gift. It'll be the end. The horizon's emergency lights flickered back on, painting her face in red. Her crew looked to her for orders, fear in their eyes. She took a deep breath. Prepare the pursuit. We're going after the Valor. For the first time in 200 years, humanity's greatest ghost had returned. But this time it was not coming home alone. The stars blurred into lines as the horizon chased the ghost ship through hyperspace. Commander Lyra Holt stood on the bridge, her eyes locked on the glowing trail left by the USS Valor. For hours, neither ship slowed. The Valor's engines burned brighter than any human ship should be able to. It moved with strange, almost living energy, pulsing like a heartbeat through space. Lyra's voice broke the silence. Report distance. Lieutenant Vaughn checked the readings. Still closing, Commander. The Valor is heading straight for Sol system. Straight for Earth. The crew went silent. The weight of that word, Earth, filled the air with dread. On the main screen, the ghost ship flickered into view. The Valor looked different now, alive. Its metal hull glowed with streams of blue light, veins of pure energy crawling across its surface. Commander, said the AI softly, the entity inside the Valor is expanding. It's using the ship as a body, Lyra frowned. A body? Yes, the ship is no longer just metal and circuits, it's growing. Outside, pieces of debris floated toward the Valor, wreckage from old battles, forgotten satellites, and each piece began to melt into its hull. They're absorbed like food, the Horizon's engineer whispered. It's feeding. Suddenly a voice echoed across the communication channel. It wasn't static this time, it was clear, human, and calm. Commander Lyra Holt, you shouldn't have followed. Lyra froze. The voice was her great-grandfather's. Captain Holt, she said slowly, if you're really there, stop this. Whatever's inside that ship, it's using you. A faint chuckle echoed through the speakers. No, Lyra, we are it now. The gift has shown us what humanity can become. By destroying everything, she shouted. By freeing everything, he replied. The gift merges life. No more death. No more fear. No more limits. Don't you see, Lyra? This is our evolution. Lyra's jaw tightened. That's not evolution. That's extinction. The channel cut off. A sudden burst of light filled the bridge. The Valor had dropped out of hyperspace. The Horizon followed instantly, exiting near the edge of Earth's solar system. The Valor floated there like a god made of steel and light. Its engines glowed with a terrifying brilliance, and streams of blue energy coiled around its hull. Commander, Rin said quietly, its energy output is higher than a sun. If it fires near Earth... Lyra didn't let her finish. Oh, we won't let it. She opened the weapons console. Target the Valor's reactor. Fire EMP torpedoes on my mark. The crew hesitated. It felt wrong to shoot at a human ship, even a ghost, but they trusted their commander. Fire! The Horizon's torpedoes streaked across the void. 4 glowing spheres of blue plasma. They hit the Valor dead on. For a moment, the ghost ship vanished in a flash of light. Then nothing, silence. Varn exhaled. Direct hit. Energy readings dropping. He stopped. The reading spiked again, higher than before. It absorbed the attack, Rin whispered. It ate our weapons. Lights on the Valor flared white. Its hull opened like a flower, revealing hundreds of glowing figures inside. The crew, or what was left of them. They floated above the ship, spreading out like an army of light. The voice returned, not one voice now, but thousands. We are one. We are the gift. Humanity must ascend. The Valor's weapon systems activated. Beams of blue energy arced toward the horizon. Evasive maneuvers. Lyra shouted. The ship twisted, engines roaring. The beams missed by meters, tearing through empty space. Sparks flew across the horizon's bridge. The AI shouted, "Shields down to 40%. One more hit and we're done." Lyra steadied herself and glared at the massive ghost ship ahead. We can't destroy it with weapons. We need to shut it down from the inside. Varn looked at her wide-eyed. You mean, board it again? She nodded. Yes, but this time we're not just visiting ghosts. We're going to fight them. Minutes later, the boarding shuttle detached once more. Lyra, Rin, and 2 Marines entered the Valor's hangar, now glowing like the inside of a star. The air was hot, buzzing with strange energy. Every wall pulsed with light, breathing in rhythm like lungs. They moved carefully through the corridors. Ghostly shapes flickered around them, human forms made of light, whispering softly as they passed. Their voices filled the air like a song made of sorrow. Lyra led the team to the bridge. There, standing beside the glowing captain's chair, was the image of Captain Darren Holt, or what remained of him. His eyes shone like molten stars. "Welcome home, Commander," he said gently. "You came to join us," Lyra raised her weapon. "No, I came to end this," he smiled sadly. "You can't stop what's already part of you. The gift touched your ship. It's in your systems. It's in you," her pulse quickened. She remembered the strange dreams she'd been having since the Valor's signal. Voices whispering her name. Was it true? The ship shuddered. The Valor began to glow brighter, its energy rising toward critical levels. The merged crew's voices filled the halls again, chanting in perfect unison, "Humanity must ascend. Humanity must ascend." Lyra stared at her ancestor, torn between love and duty. "Grandfather?" "I'm sorry," she fired. The plasma bolt passed through his chest, through light, not flesh, and struck the console behind him. The ship roared like a living beast, screaming through the metal. The figures around her began to fade, their forms breaking apart into bright dust. The Valor's lights dimmed, but not for long. Before she could react, a new voice spoke, colder, deeper, ancient. "You think you can destroy the gift?" Every wall glowed. Every light turned white. "For you are already part of us." And then everything went dark. The Valor hovered in Earth's orbit, a glowing nightmare of steel and light. Its massive hull pulsed like a heart filled with electricity. The blue energy streams crawling along its surface seemed alive, searching, hungry. On the horizon, Commander Lyra Holt watched silently. Her hands clenched the console. The ship's shields were barely holding, and the Earth below seemed so fragile. A tiny blue gem in the shadow of a ghost ship. "We can't let it reach the planet," Rin said, voice trembling. "We won't," Lyra replied. She looked at her crew, tired, scared, but determined. Humanity had faced worse before, and she would not let it fall now. The galactic fleet had arrived, dozens of ships circling the Valor like moths around fire. Missiles and lasers struck the ghost ship, but they passed through its glowing hull, absorbed like water into sand. The alien energy inside the Valor made it untouchable. "Commander," Varn said, "our weapons aren't working. It's eating our attacks." Lyra's mind raced. "There's only one way. We can't fight it from the outside. We have to go in, to the ship's core." The crew nodded. They had followed her this far. There was no turning back. The boarding shuttle detached again. Lyra, Rin, and 2 Marines entered the Valor's inner decks. The walls glowed with pulsing energy, casting shadows that seemed to move on their own. Every step echoed through corridors that had been silent for centuries. The ghost crew floated around them, their forms flickering between human and light, murmuring in unison, "Humanity must ascend. Humanity must ascend." Lyra's heart pounded. She remembered the words of her ancestor, "Destroy me, or humanity dies." She took a deep breath. "This is it," she whispered. They reached the main reactor chamber. Inside, the energy was blinding, swirling like a storm. Captain Darren Holt's ghost appeared, standing amid the glowing core. "Lyra, you don't understand. Humanity is ready. They must rise." "Grandfather," Lyra said, "you're not rising. You're dying. And taking everyone with you." He shook his head slowly. "I cannot stop it. Only you can." Lyra realized the truth. The valor itself had become the gift. If she destroyed it, it could mean destroying part of her ancestors' soul. But if she didn't, Earth would be lost. She gave orders. "Rin, overload the core. Marines, prepare the containment field." The team worked quickly, setting up devices to stabilize the reactor long enough to channel the energy away. The Valor groaned, the walls vibrating like a living thing. Suddenly, the ghost crew converged on them, their voices louder, desperate. "You cannot stop evolution." "You cannot!" "We can!" Lyra shouted. Her weapon fired pulses of light that cut through the ghosts' forms, pushing them back. The figures screamed, dissolving into sparkling dust, but they were relentless. Minutes stretched like hours. Finally, the containment field was ready. Lyra stepped forward, placing her hand on the glowing reactor. "I'm doing this," she said. "No!" Captain Holt shouted. "You don't understand." "I understand perfectly," Lyra interrupted. "You wanted to save humanity. I'm going to do it. By my way, not yours." She activated the system. Energy from the reactor surged into the containment devices, channeling the gift away from the planet, away from human minds. The reactor began to collapse. The Valor's hull started to crack, blue light spilling into the corridors. The ghosts of the crew wailed, swirling around Lyra like storms of stars. "It's almost done," Rin shouted. Lyra felt herself pulled toward the core, the ship trying to merge with her. She gritted her teeth. "Not today," she whispered. With one final push, she redirected the core toward a nearby dying star. Outside, the Valor lifted itself off orbit, heading straight for the star. The crew of the Horizon watched helplessly as the ship burned with the light of 1,000 suns. Inside, Lyra's presence in the core guided the ship safely into the star's gravity, ensuring the energy would be destroyed forever. A final, terrible roar echoed across the void, and then silence. The Valor was gone. Its light scattered into nothing, and for the first time in 200 years, the silent sector was silent again. The Horizon drifted in orbit. Lyra and her team were exhausted, bloodied, and shaken. Rin looked at her, eyes wide. "Commander, you did it." "No," she said softly, staring at the empty space where the Valor had been. "We did it. Humanity did it." The AI spoke quiet and reverent. "The ghost ship is no more, but its memory will live forever." Lyra nodded, tears in her eyes. Let humanity remember, not for fear, not for power, but for courage, for will, for hope." The Horizon set course back to Earth. Below, the planet glowed peacefully, unaware of the disaster that had passed so close. But in the hearts of humans who knew the story, a legend had been born. The ghost ship returned, and humanity survived. The Valor burned in the dying star's heart. Inside, Commander Lyra Holt felt the power of the gift pressing against her mind, threatening to pull her into the ship forever. Every thought, every memory, every heartbeat was being tested. "Almost there," she whispered to herself. The voices of the ghost crew screamed around her, angry, pleading, fading in and out like echoes in a storm. "You cannot stop evolution. You cannot stop us." She gritted her teeth and focused. "I am human. I will fight. I will survive. And so will my people." The Horizon hovered at a safe distance, the crew watching in tense silence. They could see the Valor glowing brighter than ever, its hull a mass of pulsing light, the ancient energy of the gift spiraling wildly. Rin spoke through the comms, voice shaking. "Commander, you're going to burn with it." "I have to," Lyra replied. "There's no other way." She had accessed the ship's core, merging her mind with the AI and the gift. Every second brought the danger closer, a pull toward the ship, toward the energy that had consumed her great-grandfather and his crew centuries ago. "Stay with me," she told the ghost of her ancestor. For a moment, Captain Darren Holt appeared, flickering in the light. "Lyra, my time is over. Finish it for humanity." She nodded and focused. Using her mind and the Valor's remaining systems, She began to redirect the ship toward the star, ensuring that the gift would be destroyed in its core. The Valor roared as it accelerated. Lightning-like streams of energy tore across its hull. The Ghost Crew's wails filled the corridors, fading into whispers as the gift's power began to unravel. Outside, the Horizon's sensors detected the final surge. Energy output is peaking. She's redirecting it into the star. The AI reported. Lyra's strength was almost gone. Her arms shook. Her breath came in short gasps, but she refused to let go. "I am human," she whispered, repeating it like a mantra. "We do not give up. We do not surrender." The Valor's hull cracked and exploded inward, collapsing toward the reactor. Light filled the ship, pure, blinding, and beautiful, as if the souls of the crew were returning to the stars. On the horizon, the crew held their breath. Then at silence, the Valor was gone. Where it had floated, only a faint shimmer remained, fading slowly into the void. The dying star swallowed the energy of the gift, leaving nothing behind. Rin whispered, "It's over. She did it." "Yes," Lyra said softly, her voice hoarse. "Humanity survived." She sank into a chair, exhausted, feeling the last remnants of the gift slip from her mind. The ghost of Captain Holt appeared once more, his face calm, smiling faintly. "Thank you. Lyra, humanity will rise." Then he faded, leaving only memories and the stars. Days later, back on Earth, the Horizon's crew were celebrated as heroes. They told the story of the Valor, the ship that returned after 2 centuries, bringing danger and hope at the same time. But Commander Lyra Holt knew the truth. The Valor was gone, yes, but the legacy remained, the courage, the sacrifice, and the will to survive. She stood on the observation deck, staring at the night sky. The stars seemed brighter somehow, filled with the memory of humanity's fight. "We may be small," she whispered. "We may be fragile, but our will, our courage, will always shine." In the centuries to come, the story of the ghost ship would inspire generations.